Jenna, the maker behind this YouTube channel. Welcome or welcome back. I am a mostly knitter, crafter living in the Northern Virginia area with my partner and our dog and our cat. And I am back with another podcast episode. It's been quite a while, longer than I wanted it to be. Life started lifing and things got hectic with the beginning of the holidays and fall, but I'm back and I'm excited to be back. And there might be another video coming very soon as well, so it might be a quick back-to-back situation. But let's get started with what I'm wearing. This is my Lento sweater. The Lento is a classic raglan design, but knit at a big gauge, so it goes really quickly and it's very light and airy. The yarn I used is 100% alpaca, and it is from a local farm called Butterfly Hill Farm, and they have, I think, 25 to 30 alpacas, and they spin their own yarn from their alpacas, as well as selling yarn from other local farms as well. But I picked this out, I want to say a year and a half ago, and I finished it in early November of last year. I knitted up on size 10.5 needles, so like I said, big gauge, which makes it very lightweight, which is nice. As far as the fit, I really like the folded collar. It's a double thickness and then you fold it and sew it down, which makes it the double thickness is very squishy and nice. I really like how that looks and how it lays. I also added bust darts because my full bust is larger than my upper bust by several inches. So I added some horizontal bust darts to add length to the front of my sweater so that it wouldn't ride up in the front and it would be equal to the back all the way around. That is not part of the pattern. That's something I modified on my own, and I used instructions from a class I took from Jack Cieslak. It was called Knitting Math for Curves. This was several years ago, like almost 5 years ago now, and I believe the name of the class may have changed to something about fit, but I don't think it's called exactly the same thing. But it's an amazing class. I highly recommend any class and any pattern by Jack. Their content is very well thought out, and especially for larger bodies. Sorry if you can hear my pets in the background. Our cat Reese is being very silly, and our dog Rory is concerned about his silliness. I will say I knit the sleeves slightly too short. I think you can see here, like, they come up several inches. It's fine if I'm just standing with my arms down, but anytime I move, or if I come up to do my hair, or if I make any kind of adjustment, they come up significantly, and I'm not loving that. I also knit the bind off on the body a little too tightly. I didn't take the time to do like a stretchy bind off. I just did like a normal one. Here's Reese now. Say hi. I just did like a normal bind off in pattern, and that is quite tight, and so it feels like like I said, if I move my body at all or if I adjust my hair, then it rides up and it doesn't want to fall back to where it was. It wants to kind of stay where it's at. So I feel like when I'm wearing this, I'm constantly adjusting the sleeves, the body. So I might add, my plan is to go back and add length to the sleeves, and I might add a little bit of length to the body and redo the bind offs just to make it a little bit more comfortable when I'm wearing it. But both of those issues were my knitter's error. I should have knit the sleeves longer, and I should have taken the time to do a different bind off, but I was so excited for it to be finished that I didn't do those things. And now I'm not as happy as I could be. But overall, I love wearing it. It's not Surrey alpaca, it's just normal alpaca, so it's not quite as soft, but yeah, I can wear it next to skin just fine. I'm not itchy. And it's very exciting that it's come from a farm so close to me, and I can go and see the alpacas that my yarn came from. So overall, I love it. There's a couple things I want to tweak, and I think I'm gonna do that in February for the fix it, frog it, finish it February. I'm not sure what order that goes in, but I'm excited to maybe work on this again then and get a better fitting garment for the future. So that is what I'm wearing. My first finished object I do not have with me because it was a gift from my friend Georgia. I'll pop in a picture, but it is the Jacques scarf by Laura Penrose. This is a really pretty simple neck scarf, kind of in the vein of the Sophie scarf by Petite Knit, like a little simple, cute, small neck scarf, very European. And the pattern sample was done in 2 colors, and it is a garter stitch scarf with an I-cord edge on one side and a double knit band on the other. I chose to do mine in a solid color because I was using scrap yarn and that's what I had. This was my first time doing any kind of double knitting, which is where you knit like a double thickness band at the same time, so you're knitting the back and the front on each row. And I've heard mixed things about how easy or hard this technique is, so I was a little apprehensive, but I actually really enjoyed doing it, and so I'm excited to maybe tackle a cardigan in my future with a double knit button band. So stay tuned for that, maybe someday. The yarn that I used is the same yarn that I used for my Tolsta tee that I wore in a previous episode. It is Ilmani Sabri 2, which is a cotton alpaca blend, and the colorway is French Country Blue, or something similar to that, like French Country, French Blue. A really pretty bright blue. And my friend Georgia is really into like bright blues right now. And so I thought, I have some left over from my Tolsta tee. We both studied abroad in Paris, and how perfect would it be to make this little Parisian French scarf for her in such a fun color. So that's what I did, and she loves it. So that was a great use of some extra yarn, and the pattern was great, as all Laura Penrose patterns are. Highly recommend them. I can't remember what size needle I used, but I think it was whatever was recommended in the pattern. Usually for garments I have to go up a needle size because I'm a pretty tight knitter, but for an accessory like a scarf that doesn't have any type of real fit to it, I just used whatever needle was recommended and went for it. And it worked out. So, good news. So that is my first finished object. My second finished object are the gorgeous knitted pumpkins by Adrienne Sullivan. So we have a lunch crew. A lot of our lunch crew are crafters. We have 3 knitters, including me, and I think 2 or 3 crocheters as well. So one of our coworkers suggested that we do Woolly Wednesdays, where we bring in yarn and we make a pattern together. So our first pattern was the gorgeous knitted pumpkins by Adrienne Sullivan, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. For all of you crocheters out there, if you're watching and you want me to link to the crochet pattern, I'd be happy to do that. I don't know what it was called off the top of my head, but I can find it and put it in a comment. We had a crochet version and a knitted version, and I made the knitted version. And I went a little crazy and ended up making 4 pumpkins. Pumpkin number 1 is this guy. He's a little wonky, but he's cute. For all of the pumpkins, I used needle size US 11. The pattern calls for a US 15, and my needle case goes up to a US 15, and then I have really jumbo needles past that, but not a lot in between. And I went to get out my US 15s, and one is missing. So I thought, that's okay, I'll find it later. I'll move on to a US 13. One is also missing. Where they are, I don't know. Maybe they are off on an adventure together, having the best time. I'll have to either find them or replace them at some point, but I used a US 11 for all of the pumpkins because that is the biggest size I had that matched. The yarn I used for this one is Lion Brand Hometown in the color Aspen Tweed. This came from my sister's stash. She was considering to learn how to knit a couple years back, and it didn't stick for her, which is fine. So she gifted me all of the yarn that she had bought on that journey, and this was one of them. I only had 1 ball, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity. So for the stem, all the stems are the same. My coworker brought in a thrifted ball of this pretty heathered green. If I had to guess, my guess would be it's Lion Brand Woolies, but I don't know for sure what that one is. But a stash-tastic pumpkin. The pattern has instructions for knitting both flat and in the round. I chose to knit in the round because that's what I'm most comfortable with, but if you're a true beginner, you could always start with the knitting flat pattern and you seam it up. My second pumpkin also came from Stash Yarn in this pretty yellow color. I don't know what this yarn is, but my guess would be it is Lion Brand Anti-Pilling, which is a worsted weight yarn. So for this one, I decided I really wanted to use this color. I'm not the biggest yellow fan in the world, so I thought this would be the perfect way to use up this ball of yarn that I wouldn't necessarily reach for otherwise. And because it was a worsted weight, I went down a couple needle sizes, I think to a US 8, and I basically doubled the pattern. So I cast on double the amount of stitches and I knit double the amount of rows, and just decided to see how that worked. And this is what we got. Cutie patootie. The pattern is very easy in that way. You can kind of use any yarn, any needle size. It's just going to change the height, width, shape of your pumpkin. So you can really play around with your stash and what needles you have available and have a cute little pumpkin patch for next fall. And then my last two pumpkins I gifted to my friend Stephanie and her daughter Cece. I'll pop in a picture here. I used a really pretty pink and gray kind of variegated yarn that I think was also probably Lion Brand Hometown, but I didn't see it on their website anywhere, so I'm thinking the colorway was maybe discontinued. It was also a ball of stash yarn. And Stephanie had a really fun pink pumpkin at work that had all these little ghosts drawn on it. And so I thought that would be a fun kind of ghosty pink pumpkin for right around Halloween time. So I made her a big one, and then I only had a little bit of yarn left, so I made a little one for Cece and have little mama and me pumpkins. And that is the gorgeous knitted pumpkin by Adrienne Sullivan. My next finished object is the Sexy Gone cardigan by Knitting Tipsy. This is a beginner-friendly granny stitch hexagon cardigan that I was really inspired to make when I saw a project that Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy had made fairly recently, which was an all velvet version. I thought it looked so soft and cozy, and I couldn't wait to like snuggle up in it, and I thought that will be perfect for the project that I want to do, which is I wanted to make something quick, something fairly easy to wear for an album release party for Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl. My sister and I planned a whole album listening party where we were going to watch the Eras tour on Disney Plus and up until midnight, and then we were going to start listening to the album right when it came out. We were going to make cookies, and I was going to wear my cardigan, and then she got sick and I missed the deadline to finish my cardigan, so that did not happen. But the yarn I used was very much inspired by the merchandise and the advertisements and the color scheme of the new album, which was orange, like kind of like a burnt fiery orange and like a minty teal. So the yarn I used was Lion Brand's Heartland in the colorway Yosemite, which is a nice burnt orange. I had bought this yarn last year to make a Halloween sweater, thinking like pumpkin vibes, and then I didn't end up doing that, so I had this in my stash. It's a worsted weight acrylic yarn, and then I thought again of Chelsea's velvet cardigan, and I thought, let me find a really fun like minty teal velvet or chenille yarn to round out the cardigan. And so I found Loops and Threads Skinny Chenille in the color Froggy, and I alternated those two colors for my Sexy Gone cardi. And I think it is so fun and cozy. As you can see here, I'm a new crocheter. I didn't do the best job at weaving in my ends, something to learn for next time. But now I have my Sexy Gone cardi. I can curl up with it on the couch. It's big and chunky and soft and cozy, and I love it. And even though I missed the album release by a couple of days, I was excited to mostly use stash yarn to make my first crochet garment, and I'm excited to see what else crochet brings me as well. Maybe I'm ready to move past the granny stitch. We'll see. So that is my third finished object. My last finished object is a test knit that I'm doing for Sophie of the Knit Pearl Girl, and it is for the Haze sweater. This is a top-down compound raglan, knit at an Aran weight. You can either do like DK and a lace weight held together. I chose an Aran weight because that's what I had the budget for right now. I've shown the yarn I used in a previous episode. It was Plymouth Yarn Company's Homestead yarn in the colorway Tweed, which is an Aran weight 100% wool yarn. I bought it at my local yarn shop, which is Needles in the Haymarket, during a Labor Day sale, and so I got a really good deal and scooped up everything they had left. I was worried because it is a 100% non-superwash wool that I was gonna find it itchy, but I don't at all. I can wear it next to skin and it's perfectly fine, which is very exciting. So it is a compound raglan sweater with a folded collar. Excuse the pet hair, the never-ending problem with pet hair. And it also has a sewn bind off for the cuffs and the hem. I'll pop in a picture of what it looks like with me wearing it. After blocking, the sleeves are too long. I wouldn't say they grew a lot. I think the stitches just relaxed, and that added length that I wasn't getting when I tried it on after knitting it. So they're longer than I would like. They're fine if I'm sitting down and my elbows are kind of naturally bent, but if I'm standing, they go past my hands, which isn't great. So I'll have to play around with knitting those again and maybe doing a different decrease rate, or maybe doing one less decrease and then the cuff, something like that. And then a modification that I did do was, again, I added the bust darts. That is not something that's written into the pattern, but I had permission from Sophie to do that so I could have a good fit, and I think it worked out great. The body fits great. And again, I love the folded neckline. They're just so like comfy. They sit so nicely. Love them. The needles I used were a US 9, which is going up one needle size than is written in the pattern. And then I used a US 7 for all of the ribbing. And other than the sleeves being too long, I love it. It's warm, but not too warm. It's a great color. The yarn knit up beautifully. It blocked out beautifully. So I think I'm gonna add this to my February fix-it list and maybe work on redoing the sleeves at that time. I think I'll get a lot of good use out of it over the winter. Having the longer sleeves might be nice. I can kind of pull them over my hands and curl up and be very cozy as it gets colder. But yeah, that's my one tiny gripe, and that's my fault for not realizing they were too long prior to doing the cuff and blocking them. But yes, that is my Haze sweater, which brings me to my first work in progress, which is also the Haze sweater. This is the masculine sizing, and I am knitting it for my partner Joel in the same yarn with same needle sizes, but this is the colorway navy. I finished the folded neckline, squish squish, and I finished both sleeves. And so now all I have to do is crank on the body and we will be good to go. Something that I learned from Jack Cieslak's class on knitting math for curves was that if you want to ensure the best fit, that you should always do the collar and the sleeves first before finishing the body, because that will affect how the body fits, how much length you need, kind of the fit of the whole garment. So that is what I've done ever since taking that course. So when I'm working a raglan, right after I split for sleeves, it kind of depends on the yarn I'm using. Since this is 100% wool, it's easy to kind of splice two balls together and not have as many ends. But if I wasn't, I would kind of finish the ball on the body, and then when I ran out of yarn, I would stop the body and pick up the sleeves and finish those first. So that is what I did, and those are also the hardest parts for me, the finishing details. I get bored and I don't want to always put in the time to make something really nice. That's something I'm working on. I did the sewn bind off for the first time ever and actually enjoyed it. I know some people hate it, but I was having fun doing it. It was satisfying. Anyway, I'm working on the finishing touches and being better at putting in that work to get a better finished garment that I love, and it's working out. But the hardest parts, the collar and the sleeves, for me, attention-wise, are done. So now I just have to finish the body. He is a smaller size than I am, so it goes a lot quicker than mine did. And I'm hoping I can maybe get this done this weekend, and then December can turn over a new leaf of knitting projects. And that is my Haze sweater masculine sizing. My only other whip that I have made any progress on since the last time we talked is my sock for my friend Maddie. I am making a basic sock from Summerly Knits pattern book, The Sock Project. And here it is. I am almost done the heel. Then I'll do the heel turn. This is my first time doing a heel flap and gusset. I've only made 1.5 pairs of socks, and both of those had a German short row heel, so I'm excited to be learning a new heel construction. This is a self-striping yarn from Nomadic Yarns in the colorway Scream Queen, and I just think they're looking gorgeous. I kind of stopped working on a lot of my whips so that I could finish these 2 sweaters for the test knit, because I signed up and got both the feminine and masculine sizing, so I had 2 sweaters to make in, it was either 9 or 12 weeks, which I'm on track to do, shockingly. But my other whips are languishing. This is the only one that I've worked on, and I'm excited to pick it back up. And also my friend Jeff's sock, which hasn't had any work done on it. I'm excited to pick that back up as well. What I'm thinking for the future is, well, we'll save that for another video. As far as socks go, something that I want to learn in the new year is knitting 2 socks at a time. I think obviously it goes a lot faster, and that might help me not fall into the second sock syndrome that so many people fall into, and I myself have fallen into in the past. So watch out next year, it might be the year of the socks. And that is it for my works in progress. Now I'd like to show you my acquisitions. They are all from my Unraveled Readers book club, where we read a book each month, gather together for the discussion, and do a craft while we discuss it. It's a partnership between a local bookstore in Frederick, Maryland, Curious Iguana, and the local yarn store there, Magpie Fibers. So, the October book was A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. Obviously you can see my bookmark. I did not finish the book. I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it to the meeting. I was going to be able to get there in time to get all the goodies for the next meeting, but I wasn't going to be able to stay. I'm sorry, this was the November book, not the October book. But from what I've read so far, I'm really enjoying it. It's very cute. It's cute fantasy. It's Lord of the Rings meets Great British Bake Off. There's nothing traumatic or dark. It's just a light, cozy, comforting read, and I'm really enjoying it. The yarn for the book is this. So pretty. Got some speckles back here of gold. And this, I'm getting them all on the same base. It's Swanky Sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And I plan on crocheting a Battenberg blanket with all of these different skeins and putting them together to look like a quilt. The craft for November, which I picked up but didn't get to do in person, so I'm excited to do it soon, are these mini, it was needle felting, and are these mini sugar cookies. How cute are these? And it includes everything you need to felt them. It has the needles, the wool felt, the cookie cutouts, instructions. Adorable. So I'm excited to do this in December. I don't know how to knead a felt, so I'll have to look up a video on how to do that since I missed the book club. Every book club, they're really good about walking around and giving a demonstration if you don't know how to do the craft. So I could have learned, but I wasn't able to stay. Now, December's book club is meeting on Monday, and I'm really excited. The book is A Merry Little Lie. My mom is coming with me, and I gave her my print copy of the book, and I am reading the audio. So I'll pop in a picture of the book cover here. I just started it, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's kind of dysfunctional family meets up for the holidays, so I'm a tiny bit apprehensive from a dysfunctional family standpoint, but I think it'll end up being very cute and cozy. I'm excited to keep reading it, and I've got to hurry up because book club is on Monday. The yarn for this month, again on the Swanky Sock base, is this gorgeous pink, white, gray speckles. So pretty. And the craft for this month is embroidery, which I've been wanting to get into for a while but never have. And they picked 3 different winter motifs, and it comes in a little kit, and around the edge, well, here, let me show you. This is the one I've chosen to do. There were 3 different ones, but around the edge you learn different embroidery stitches, and then you put them all together to do the design in the center. So I picked this really cute cabled sweater, and I'm very excited to get a demonstration on how to embroider. So I can pop that in my crafting tool belt for the future. I know Rebecca of the Crayabea has embroidered things onto her knit sweaters before to kind of make them switch the seasons they were intended for, which I think is such a cool idea. My grandmother used to embroider as well. She would embroider almost like a painting. I'm not sure what you would call it, but anyway, I'm excited to get into this. This is the one I picked, and book club is on Monday, so I can't wait to go. And I can't wait to see what next month book, yarn, and craft are going to look like. My only other acquisitions lead me to a segment I want to call Plant of the Month, and that is because I am part of the plant club at my local bookstore. My local bookstore, Birch Tree Books in Leesburg, has a sister shop in the same space called Foliage Plant Shop. So it's half bookstore, half plant shop, and they have a plant club. And each month, as a member of the plant club, you get a free clipping of a plant. So my clipping, let me see if I can get it out of here. My clipping for the month of October is this guy. And this is a philodendron white wizard. And I heard that name and thought, I have to have that one. White wizard, are you kidding? And then for November, my clipping is another philodendron. This is Painted Lady. And I am coming up on the end of my first year as a plant club member. Last year for Christmas, both my mom and my partner got me subscriptions to the plant club, so I got 2 years. So I get it for all of next year as well. They made a note in their system, which is super nice. So if anyone would like a plant tour video, let me know in the comments, and I can give you a tour of all the plants that I've already gotten as a member of the plant club. Plus some other ones, because sometimes you walk in there and you leave with more than you were bargaining for. You also get a free small plant on your birthday, and they're just the best. Sometimes I feel like the deal is too good to be true. But I bought a lot of planters and plants there as well, so they're getting their money's worth out of me. But that is a clip. That is a segment that I will hopefully have every month as I get my new clipping for the month. Let me know what you're working on in the comments. Let me know what you have planned for the upcoming holidays. And thank you for watching. It feels good to be back. I hope there won't be such a long hiatus in the future. I gotta keep myself on my toes. Keep your eyes peeled soon for another video coming announcing my winter or month of December plans, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.